right, guys, welcome back to Under the Lights with Nicky Pringles. We got some big fights coming up. We're going to break some of them down. Let's dive right in. We got Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. We got Devin the Jab Haney with his team of attorneys probably walking him to the ring. Haney and Associates versus Jose Ramirez. And we got Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. So I'm going to touch on all three fights. We're going to jump into them one at a time. I watched the Ramirez-Barboza fight in preparation for this analysis. That's a pretty good way to do it since they're both on the card. And yeah, so we'll start off with the Ryan Garcia-Rolly Romero fight. So that one, I don't think anything spectacular is going to happen that we don't already know. I'm pretty sure that Ryan Garcia is going to execute Rolly Romero, probably in short order. I mean, you could make the argument based on their sparring that they have a history and they know each other. And look what Rolly did to him in the sparring footage, yada, yada, yada. But quite frankly, I'm pretty sure that everyone agrees that it's not going to be even a close fight. I actually expect that fight to end pretty early. I mean, watching Rolly Romero in general, his best performance 100% was against Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, no one disputes that. He fought pretty controlled. You know, he let his hands go, good combinations, but eventually he came in straight and got caught. I don't think that's going to matter here with Ryan Garcia because he doesn't have the reach advantage. And he doesn't fight anything like Gervonta Davis. Ryan Garcia, he's the one that puts pressure. He's the one that gets on you ahead of time and throws power shots. And his speed is just way too much for Rolly Romero to handle. I just don't see him having the head movement necessary to stay away from the left hook or even the right hand, quite frankly, or even the jab. He's going to get tagged. He's pretty stiff in the upper body in general. Yeah, he's got some power. He's got that thudding power. He has a puncher's chance. And anything's possible because it is boxing. But in reality, we're probably looking at a one-sided slaughtering in the form of Ryan Garcia breaking Rolly Romero's face. He's chinny. He can't take a lot of shots. Everybody knows this. It's only a matter of time before he gets to him. I mean, I really can't even see what Rolly Romero could really do to make this fight that competitive outside of maybe try to stay on the inside and smother him and let his hands go and just hope that his combinations work. There's really not a lot of attacks that Rolly Romero can use. He's not that versatile a fighter in general. He does hit hard. He's got heart. I really like the guy. I'm a fan of his. I mean, obviously he's a warrior. He knows he can get hurt and he still gets in there every single time. So you got to respect that. And I mean, the guy's entertaining. So I'm glad the fight's happening. I'm glad to see Ryan Garcia back in the ring after everything that's happened. And yeah, I expect that one to move pretty fast. So that's really all I have to say about that fight in general. I think that the post-fight and the pre-fight antics are probably going to be more entertaining than the fight itself outside of watching Rolly get his head knocked off by that baseball bat left hand that Ryan Garcia throws. But again, we'll see what happens on the night. So rolling into the next fight, anyone that's watched my channel for any length of time knows that I don't hate Devin Haney, the fighter, but I don't like them really as the way that they move as people and how they promote and things like that, especially Bill Haney. And this is just more of the same, guys. They're picking on Jose Ramirez because he's out of his prime. He has a style that works for Devin Haney. They watched the Arnold Barboza fight, and they watched Arnold Barboza basically outbox him the entire night. Haney's a better boxer in that regard than Barboza, I would say, because he has better hand speed, better footwork. I mean, he's a pretty skilled boxer in general. And I think they think they're going to basically like reach his program and just pick him off all night. And that's kind of the whole situation that we're facing here. Jose Ramirez is a great champion. I'm really a fan of his in general. He's like a Mexican Joe Frazier. He's kind of flat-footed, but he has the bob and weave. He comes in underneath the shots, but he doesn't really close distance explosively, and he doesn't really, have the kind of footwork or the kind of speed necessary to deal with a Devin Haney. So I expect the usual Devin Haney by decision, throwing 800 million jabs around and being very unexciting. That being said, I'm kind of tired of seeing that in general, where they're handpicking the older guys that are suited for Devin Haney. I understand why they do it, but then they go out there and they run their mouths like they're the best thing since sliced bread. And I don't care what you say about Ryan Garcia being on PEDs or whatever for that fight. Nothing was ever going to stop that left hook from beating the shit out of Devin Haney and dropping him a million times like it did. I mean, he could have came in there without sleeping for 24 hours and probably still done the same thing. And we'll probably see it in the rematch because I expect that rematch to actually happen. So again, Jose Ramirez, it's not that he doesn't have a chance. Devin Haney is chinny, but the thing that people are overlooking is that the guy's got heart. He really is a warrior. He always gets back up and he always fights, and he has relatively medium to decent recovery powers. He knows how to protect himself. He's never been knocked out, even though he's been dropped. He's been dropped a million times, and the kid gets back up. And I just don't expect Jose Ramirez to have enough chances to have that kind of success in order to actually get him out of there. So I just see Devin Haney controlling the pace, leading with the jab, obviously, like he always does. That's why I call him the Jab Haney, and then filing a lawsuit after the fight is over. So Haney and Associates, he recently announced that he replaces his corner team with a team of lawyers. But yeah, that's another thing to talk about on another day. I think that we're all tired of watching them sue and whine and complain and gripe about the whole Ryan Garcia thing. So what I would like to see from Devin Haney, go in there, put on a masterclass boxing performance like he's done so many times, and let all the other shit stay at the door. Don't complain about the Ryan Garcia thing. When you do your call out, which he's going to do after the fight, don't use the whole steroid thing to make your argument. No one wants to hear it. Don't complain. Just take the win like a champion. Have some grace about it. Then get the fight with Ryan Garcia, and then win that fight or look really good in that fight without all this bullshit. So hopefully he just goes in there the warrior Devin Haney that he really is, despite having no power whatsoever. The guy, he's got heart for days. I respect that about him. But as far as the whole arrogance side of things goes and the way they promote themselves and the way they talk themselves up, I'm not a big fan of it, considering we all know exactly what Devin Haney is. He's a boxer, a pure boxer, stick and move, keeps you on the end of his punches. He's got some decent work on the inside as far as being able to handle himself, but he's not really the aggressor there. He's a little bit chinny. He's got some flashy shots, but he can't really hurt anyone. That X factor is not there when it comes to the, oh my God, anything could happen. So he's got to find other ways to make it exciting, in my opinion. Not that he won't be successful winning fights and even get the belt back or something like that in the future, but as far as a boxing fan goes, I like to see that danger element inside of there, or at least like a Joe Calzaghe, who threw so much volume that he actually broke people down and hurt them. He was flashy, he was entertaining to watch, a lot of showboating, a lot of great movement in the ring. He was a virtuoso in that way. So maybe Haney could take a few pages from his book and, throw some more punches and not play it so safe in the future. And maybe they could take an opponent that's not an obvious cherry pick. I'm tired of seeing him go after older champions that are just suited for his style perfectly. We all know that's exactly what this is. So moving on to the fight of the night, the slap heard round the world, Teofimo the Takeover Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. I'm going to break down both sides of it, and then obviously I'm going to tell you my pick. I'll tell you right now, obviously I see Teofimo Lopez winning that fight, but for these reasons. But before I dive into that, let me talk a little bit about Barboza. Barboza is a very solid, very professional, very disciplined fighter. He does his best work at mid-range, keep you on the end of his punches. His ring generalship is pretty good, to be honest. He knows how to get off the ropes. He has a pretty good shot selection. He has respectable hand speed, but not world-class hand speed. And, he's got heart, he's durable, and he's got a lot of focus. Like I said, very disciplined fighter. He never stops doing what he has to do. He never loses focus, and he never really gets sloppy in there, which is really good. And he's got a chin on him. He's got some really good attributes. He can make this a fight. But in all honesty, I see Teofimo Lopez winning it for the reasons of, first of all, Teofimo Lopez, they're both counter punchers. So they're going to be kind of sizing each other up in the middle of the ring. But Barboza really only does his best work at mid-range. And he's never fought a guy like a Teofimo Lopez that can close distance really fast and with that explosiveness. People might be inclined to say that he didn't carry his power up because he's not starching guys like he used to when he was at lightweight. But I don't think that's necessarily all that true. Obviously, you're fighting bigger guys, so you're not going to have the same devastation that you had on the smaller guys. But he still hits like a brick shit house. He's got grenades in both fists. And the thing about Teofimo Lopez that people don't give him enough credit for is when he does land, it's extremely clean and it's extremely accurate. His pot shotting is second to none. And again, he can explode really fast on the feet. He's far more athletic than Barboza is. And I just think that as the rounds goes on and Teal starts finding his shots, when he starts landing with that thudding power and that blazing hand speed, I think it's going to knock Barboza out of his rhythm. And I kind of see it going like a Josh Taylor, where he just starts getting beat up in the middle to later rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if Teofimo stops him. I also could see if Barboza were to pull off the victory, it would be probably a decision. Teofimo Lopez, everyone points to the Kambosos fight. But I don't think it's any secret that George Kambosos is a one-hit wonder. He's basically the Buster Douglas of this generation. No one thinks Buster Douglas was a better fighter than Mike Tyson because he beat Mike Tyson. And that's kind of the situation they had there. And even in that fight, we saw Teofimo not fight his best game plan like he's done in the past. Vasily Lomachenko, etc. He threw caution to the wind. He just tried to walk him down and take his head off, which he almost did. Even in the later rounds, after all that punishment and all that boxing, he still put Kambosos down. And I'm sure that Kambosos still left that ring probably more hurt than Teo despite the cut. So the thing about Teofimo that I wanted to talk about as well is people don't give him enough credit for the live dog that he is. He's a nice guy. People make fun of him for being corny and like all the Disney stuff or whatever. But if you look in that guy's eyes, he's a genuinely true warrior. He shies away from no one. He's got the heart of a fucking lion. He's got the skills to back everything up. And he's a genuine problem. That guy, he's a true champion, man. He really has it in all the right places, and he has world-class speed, world-class power, world-class athleticism, amazing footwork, amazing timing, amazing reflexes. The kid has it all. The only thing that ever really compromises Teofimo is Teofimo. Which Teofimo are we going to get? Is he going to just go in there and be reckless, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada? In this case, I don't think he is. I think he's going to fight a fairly controlled fight without making it boring. I think he's going to, press the action here and there. This isn't a guy that he has to chase. Even though Barboza does have decent footwork and does like to stay in the middle of the ring, he is going to be there for Teofimo to get to him. And Teofimo doesn't need to rely on the ropes in order to get his shots off like Ramirez does. Like when Ramirez and Barboza fought, Ramirez is always trying to pressure you back to the ropes and then land combinations and do damage in those spots. He really doesn't have the advantage in the middle of the ring, especially against a guy who boxes like Barboza. And that was really that's what lost him the fight, honestly. It's just his style. That was just a styles make fight situation. Ramirez is a beast. He's got power. He's got heart. I love the way he fights, but kind of just like, to talk about the late great George Foreman, Joe Frazier and George Foreman. Frazier has that low bob and weave style and has to get inside. He doesn't have crazy fast combinations. He's not always doubling up the jab, and working different angles. It's all in the upper body and the head movement, the bobbing and weaving. And he has to get to you, then he can let his hands go. And that's really what stopped him against Barboza, is that he wasn't able to take control of the fight in the middle of the ring. So Barboza, despite being a true professional and having respectable skills and being basically champion level, I would say more like high level contender, because we have a couple of virtuosos out there, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. These guys have like the world class ability that is rare. It's generational talent. I think if it wasn't for those guys, he would be probably the champion, if not one of the top contenders by far. But I think in this case, he's going to be overmatched. I mean, that slap landed with ease. The slap heard around the world. I'll play a clip of it in here. It was fantastic. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of that, but with a closed fist this time. So again, Ryan Garcia by execution of Rolly Romero. I don't think there's going to be anything that he could do, especially because Ryan takes the initiative and steals the pace right at the beginning. I don't think Rolly has the skill set to deal with a Ryan Garcia, especially because Ryan Garcia is starting to fill out. He's getting thicker, he's getting stockier, but that hand speed is still every inch as good as it ever was, and now he has extra power on top of it, and he's only getting better. And he's another one too, guys, I wanted to mention. Ryan Garcia is a real fighter. That guy is a problem. He's got the devil in him when he comes in that ring, and he's legit. He's the real deal. The only thing that I'd like to see Ryan Garcia have more of is some head movement, obviously. You know what I mean? And use some feints a little bit. But his speed and his pressure is so overwhelming that he makes up for a lot of it with just that alone. They're always dealing with him. You got that left hook coming at 400 miles an hour. It's basically traveling through fucking time. What are you going to do with that outside of, hopefully not get hit by it? Like Gervonta Davis had a lot of benefits. His fighting style, the way that he sets things up and the way that he moves in general with his power and the fact that he weight trained Ryan Garcia to basically a Holocaust survivor is what won him that fight. If they fought again at a catchweight, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ryan take that fight too. Teofimo Lopez, he's probably my favorite fighter out there right now, next to like a Canelo or something like that. Actually, he's up there with those guys for me. I'm a huge fan of the kid. I love what he does. I like who he is. I like the fact that he stays true to himself no matter what. No matter what you want to say about the kid, he's the real deal, and he fights champions in their primes and goes for the best. What I would like to see from Teofimo a little bit more, I think the only flaw that he really has is that he doesn't really feint and he doesn't set things up with the jab enough. If he was feinting and trying to bring things out of guys and trap them more, he would be a devastating, huge problem. That, and if he works with Eddie Reynoso and gets there on that front foot like Canelo and can get inside and basically put that pressure on you and get better at cutting off the ring, those are the only two flaws I see that kid have. People always say that Kambosos knocked him down and blah, blah, blah. I've never seen him hurt. And what I mean by hurt is, I've never seen his legs be wobbly. I've never seen him off balance, his equilibrium messed up. He's been cut. He's been dropped. It's always been a flash knockdown, but he's really never been truly hurt. So if you can't hurt that kid and you can't make him fight on the back foot or you can't make him chase you, it's going to be a problem. And I just think, again, I think he's going to be too explosive. I think that, he's going to get those counter shots off. He's going to close distance really fast. And I think that's going to be the X factor in this fight. So we're going to see what happens. I just wanted to touch on some of these things, get the show back up and running. My studio was down for a while, so now I'm back. Good to see you guys. It's been a blast. I'll see you on the next one. God bless and peace. Caw-caw.
KO.